We are continuing our conversation with the Darger family, talking about their new book, Love Times 3, and any discussion of I don't know if we want to say sort of modern polygamy, but looking at you are not the image of the polygamist sects that people see when you talk about a Warren Jeffs. That discussion. You look very much like the family we saw on HBO's Big Love, and that's kind of a little interesting point in that some of the stories that showed up on the small screen seem to come right out of your own backyard.
Some did. Some seem to.
Well, and it was interesting because the three of us were on a magazine cover years ago, just a little magazine that ended up going nowhere, and when I think it was the writers of Big Love were doing their research, they saw that and they're like, hey, this is a modern, polygamous
suburban family.
And it gave them an idea, that existed. And so that was one of the inspirations, which turned out to be, I think, a really neat thing. I thought they got a lot of the family love and the sister-wife relationship, how they were there for each other. So I thought,
and you, Joe, you write, at the end of season 1. Spoiler alert, everyone! If you haven't seen it, it's too late. It's too late for that. But the scene where Jean Triplehorn's character, is nominated for a Mother of the Year award and has to be, walked out at the last minute. I mean, that actually happened to you.
Yeah, that was very unnerving. We did not consult. That rumor still exists. We didn't talk to, and we were never interviewed, and we're not paid. Somebody accused us of getting royalties from Big Love. We wish. No, I mean, they gave us an endorsement of the book, but some of the stories were very jarring to see and know that, boy, they were well researched. They had some kind of information that they were getting. And that scene in particular I chronicle in the book. And it really captured the real fear that we felt. I had nominated my mother for, at the time, it was a Remarkable Mother of the Year. It's one of 100 of the centennial. And we were whisked away in the governor's mansion into the women's bathroom, I remember. And, I had that familiar ear started burning. I got sick to my stomach and like, uh-oh. We've been outed, and
there's that fear again.
Yeah, that was the fear, and I can remember just we declined the award. We didn't want to take away from the mothers and what it was about, and we went around the back door, and I remember saying no comment, no comment. That's all I knew how to say. So that's part I talk about that story, and watching that. I mean, it's certainly we're the Dargers. We're not the Hendricksons, and it's a soap opera for sure.
You're not running for state legislature after this,
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon.
He's too busy.
For one, I wouldn't be allowed to. But getting votes in the state would be difficult. But I hope to stay involved politically. We hope that the message resonates to a larger audience about what is family and what are our prejudices and what are we looking at and how do we look at life. Even people that somehow think they're fairly open-minded tend to peer down their nose at anyone of faith. That's not always understood.
Or just something that's so different that they don't really know anything about it. So I think this will really help people, because there's a lot of people that really don't know anything or only what they've seen in the media, and it started defining us, and we felt like we really need to show people something a little bit different from someone who's still within the culture.
And you mentioned the way the media has taken this. I mean, so just in the last couple of years, I mean, we've seen reality show, a New York Times best-selling novel, as I mentioned, Emmy award-winning TV show. Has that started to change the discussion? I mean, and it probably doesn't hurt having, I don't know whether it helps or hurts having two Mormons running for office, which keeps bringing the subject back up to the front.
What it shows is that the country is progressing, and 10 years ago, maybe we wouldn't have stepped forward. In that magazine that we talk about, we didn't give our names, and now 10 years later, things are progressing and society's a little bit more open to some other things, so why not us? Why not this alternative lifestyle?
And another thing I hope that Love Times 3 explains to people is even the diversity within, the polygamist culture, and also we're trying to help people understand we are not part of the mainstream Mormon church that disavowed and, banned polygamy over 100 years ago, in which Mitt Romney and John Huntsman are. So we kind of hope to educate through this book as well.
You're neither of none of the above.
Exactly.
So let me ask, how are you have some college age kids? How are they reacting to this, and sort of what stage are where are they both with your faith and beyond?
Actually, we have a chapter in the book, so I hope people read it where
I'll get to it, I promise.
story of the kids write their own story, and so it's just interesting to see. We'll tell their view of growing up in our family and how they feel towards it now.
Okay.
But they do great. They actually, once you get out of high school and beyond that, they're a little bit more comfortable with who they are, and especially now with what we've done, I think it makes them feel proud, and they feel like they can be who they are now, and it's been really good for them.
I think actually with this September starting here, we actually now have 5 of them out and on their own, and
it's a welcome relief to
well,
any parent.
Well, we're proud of the fact that we want to raise our kids to be independent, contributing members of society. And be responsible, and hopefully too, growing up this way, I think our kids have a lot more sensitivity to diversity. Interesting enough, they're still strong in faith, but it's helped them understand what it's like to grow up, being different, and we hope they're more sensitive and adjusted human beings as a result.
All right. Well, if people do want more about the book, want to find out more about you, you've got some events coming up throughout the state.
Yeah. Well, we have our second and last that we're aware of book signing here in Park City. That'll be at Dolly's Bookstore, and that's on Thursday at 7. So we hope the Park City audience can come out, and we'd love to sign books and meet people.
Now, are you touring outside, going to be talking outside of Utah? I mean, do you think the reaction is going to be different away from Utah than it is inside?
We will probably be flying to New York next week and be on some shows. In addition, we expect there's a piece on 2020 coming out, which I think will be pretty extensive on our family. And so I think there's a lot of national interest. Even we've had the BBC, we've had the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. There's
Canadian press.
The Canadian press is very fascinated. That's before their Supreme Court. So I think this is a bigger issue than a Utah issue.
In which we have a website, lovetimes3.com, so people want to go and even find out information, find more about the kids, little stories about what happens at our house, how it rolls.
Yes, how you guys Google Calendar people, to keep track of everything. It's all color coded. It's great.
The technology has helped us immensely.
I would imagine. All right, Alina, Vicki, Val, Joe, thank you all so much for coming in, and again, best of luck on the book tour, and best of luck, managing the family in the future.
Thank you for having us on.
We've got a whole lot more, including a look at the weather coming up right after this.